Hi, Celeste. How are you doing? Welcome to Naya. Thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. So I came across this sister's video. I like the video and I hope you also enjoy it. So she was talking about how, I think she saw a video of a white woman talking about some of the coded things they do that are racist towards people that look like me, not knowing that black people, I mean, like it is not anything new to black people because black people already know all the things that they say and do without you even having to say it. Even they cite it from afar. That is something that I like about black people. I mean, and it looks like you people are always ready. I mean, you have an answer to everything, especially when it's coming from, and you all already know how the macro aggression, how it comes and all that. So she was talking about how also, they compliment you. Sometimes they compliment you because they probably do not have anything to say, or they just feel like, let me just say it. And sometimes you know that they always use autism to make an excuses for some certain behaviors that they do towards people that look like me, and how when you tell them not to get the braids and all that, it's only like and the rest of it, and how they also walk on the road without saying, like, push people, not saying excuse, and all that. I just love the way she explained all of it. And you and I know that this is not something new. Black people already knew all of this. Sadly, let's get into this video.
There's a white girl on here who I think the whole spiel is that she grew up in a conservative family and she's now telling people what white racist people say and the coded things that they say. But the list that she provided is literally everything that everybody already knows. And I just think it's so funny. Like, white people, we actually, black and non-black people of color, know y'all better than you know yourself. So when you think it's coded, it's not. Also, what you think is coded as a white person is not actually code, right? I'll tell you things that white people don't even notice, right? That is actually code. For example, ask any black or non-black person of color if white people say excuse me. That is inherently racist. Anytime a black person's presence, body, non-black person's body is in a space, in a grocery store aisle, in a convenience store, wherever, on the sidewalk, wherever it might be, a white person will push by or move in front of them. Rarely have I heard excuse me or thank you, right? If I hold the door open, right, a white person will just walk through. Rarely do I hear thank you. Very racist coded, if you want to use that language. Something that I talk about all the time is white people compliments. Whenever a black person is in a space that white people deem is only for white people, so let's say, for example, the airport, right? We live in a racial capitalistic society where white people believe that they are entitled to every space, but especially spaces that push people out due to money. And the airport is a perfect place to see these dynamics play out. So whenever I am boarding a plane, sitting on the plane, waiting for the plane, there is inevitably a white person that is going to compliment my outfit, right? And say, oh my God, unless I'm going to Atlanta. If you know, you know, right? And, oh my God, I love your outfit. Oh my God, I love your hair. Oh my, blah. Especially if I'm going to a predominantly white area, which that also very racist, right? There is going to be a ton of compliments. And if you hung out enough with white people, you know that white people don't really be complimenting strangers, right? That is very, very rare. So the only reason why they compliment is because they're uncomfortable with you being in the space. And instead of dealing with their discomfort and leaving you the hell alone, now they're, covering up with a whole bunch of compliments that is literally the pipeline to get talking about your black friend or having some sort of commentary about my hair, right? It's weird. The last one that I'll say for now, but I would love for y'all to add more in the comments, is, have you ever heard the glee that white people have telling a black or non-black person of color no? They love to tell us no. You can't go in that fitting room. No, we don't have that right now. No, 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 no. They love it. But have you ever told, as a black person or a non-black person of color, a white person no? Oh, my Lord. We tell them, stop wearing braids. I'm not going to do that. The Vikings do that. Hey, stop speaking AAVE. It's internet culture. Like, entitled. And when it comes from you, there is a particular racist rage that comes up in their bodies. So these are some coded examples. And I would love for some, folks in the comments to provide more. Last bit on white people compliments, because that seems to have ruffled the most feathers. I think you have to think about it like this. Is the compliment for you or is it for the other person? Is that person free to interact with your compliment however they need to? Or are they now needing to only interact favorably? For example, if you, white person, walk up to a black person and say, hey, I like your hair, and they say, please get away from me, are you now going to try to call the authorities on that person because they were mean or angry with you, right? Like, black people are positioned to only respond to white people in one particular way because white people hold power in public space. So a compliment is essentially to disarm, right? You're trying to gauge how this black person is going to interact with you. But really, really what's underneath is the assertion that they will interact with you kindly because they have to. Because white people are the state in the street, right? We don't need police in uniforms. White people do that job for them. So you have to consider, if the person that you're complimenting cannot respond freely, consent, bodily autonomy is not present. So this compliment is not really for them, it's for you. So you can feel good about your day. I know some people put like, I'm autistic and this is how I interact with people. That's about you being able to interact with people, not necessarily about how they may feel. What if they have autism? What if they don't want to be interacted with? Right? What if they're having a horrible day and they don't want anybody to talk to them? Right? Do they get to respond how they want to respond? Or are they going to be deemed as violent, as now unsafe, as someone that needs to be removed and will be removed? Because the agreement is that white people, spaces are for white people, public spaces for white people. Black people just happen to be there and they need to abide by the social rules of that space or they'd be kicked out. Right? You see this with white people with noise complaints. That's another one. Like, you cannot be loud as a black person around white people. White people can be loud. White people are actually quite loud, right? But if you as a black person are being loud, they will jump at the opportunity to police you. I remember I was on a train once and I had my headphones in and it's a packed train. And I was sitting next to a white woman and she tapped me on my shoulder and said, hey, can you turn your music down? In my headphones. It wasn't playing out loud. In my headphones. Right? White people feel like they are entitled to public space. And that includes the people they deem they have dominance over, which is black and non-black people of color. So just ask yourself that question before you compliment someone. Can this person respond freely to my compliment, considering the power dynamics that are embedded in our society, right? Or is this compliment really just so I can feel good about myself today? So I can just feel like I did something for somebody's day. Maybe slip them $100 instead of giving them a compliment, huh? Maybe just say, hey, I hope you have a great day. Here's $100, right? I love that. And are we on number 4? This is the 4th thing that white people do, okay? Whenever we say white people do X, Y, and Z, there is inevitably white people who will say, not me, I don't do that. My family doesn't do that. Group level patterns versus personal anecdotes. It's important to make that distinction. Group level patterns, most white people, in my opinion, are discomfited by black people's presence. So what they do is that they compliment. If you are someone that just loves to compliment people and you mean it sincerely, fantastic. But I am positing that most white people do not feel that way. And it's important that you don't necessarily try to make yourself out to be the special case, but you consider the group, how white people interact with black people in general.
This is all I got from this video. Sincerely speaking, she nailed it. She came through. She didn't even hide anything. And that is true. You know, sometimes they just like compliment nonsense. I don't know if that makes, I don't know, but this is it. Because they just want to talk. Some want to strike a conversation. And so we tell you, I am, why is it that a lot of them use this autism, like, to make excuses for some of their bad behaviors and all that. But trust me, this young lady, this woman got all of them. And now the one that they just walk without saying excuse and end up pushing. I don't know how they do it, but man, there are some things that sometimes I sit down to think about it, and I am like, looks like they operate the same way in most places. Because what you are complaining in that where you are is also what they do other places. So they act the same. I am going to say this. Why do they get kind of not really like kind of why do their how do I say this? Their confidence level reduce, or maybe like their self-esteem kind of reduce when they see people that look like me, that will make them start acting a little bit weird and all that. Are they kind of intimidated? I know for sure that they are kind of jealous, right? But that I don't know, sometimes I feel like they are intimidated. It's just like when you all, like I have brought like some work or corporate office, like brouhaha shenanigans and all that most black people love to like be on their own at work. They don't want to say anything, especially when they are working with these people. They just want to be on their own, right? And when you are working and probably not talking to them a lot, you get to probably get a message from HR or something saying how you are not like friendly, or if they don't see you smile, like stupidly, right? Like they always hope to, they always want you to dance there too, not knowing that most black people are tuned on their own. So how do you expect a tune to dance to someone else's tune, right? I don't know if that does make sense. So black people are a whole vibe on their own. So they act on their own accord, not you wanting them to do something. So I love that about black people, sincerely speaking. And why are you people so outspoken? Like you all are so outspoken. Oh my God. Like I love it. I really do. You have no idea. I love it. You all say it the way it is. That's why most people cannot handle how honest you are. So yeah, I am gonna draw the curtain here and shout out to the sister. Like she already came out with it. Bang, bang, bang. Bye for now.